We all love that sound, don't we? Hey everyone, it's Jason from Kinda Cool, and today we're going to be doing the Kin Kicks Challenge. So, first thing we'll do is we'll jump into the settings here and turn off all the punch buttons because the idea of this challenge is you can only kick, no punches, and you gotta be Kin. And those are pretty much the rules. You're trying to see how far you can make it, how many people you can beat, and what your high score is at the end of the day from this. And that's really what you're doing here, and them's the rules. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to start with Chun-Li here. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't show how I actually captured this footage. Officially Captured, I think, asked me last time I did some video gameplay footage whether I was capturing on original hardware. I told them, of course I am. So I'll break it down here for you here. We're playing on a modern LED television, but an original Super Nintendo with the original copy of Street Fighter 2, running through the retro Tink 5X into the capture device, and then picked up on an old school Dell laptop. Nothing special here, nothing flashy, but that's what's getting it done. So moving on to the gameplay, this is an interesting challenge for me because I consider myself a pretty decent Street Fighter 2 player. But man, you take away those punch buttons and it changes things dramatically, doesn't it? It's really a whole new ballgame. It puts you in a really defensive mindset, and you really realize pretty quickly that to reach out and to create any level of offense, you're putting yourself really at risk. And that's really the big deal here. I think people are figuring that out as they play, that this challenge is not as easy as it seems. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. So we're playing Blanca right now, and he's putting up a good fight. You know, he's one of those, I'll probably say that I've played through this about 8 or 9 times now to get this footage. This was the best of those attempts. But he can put up some D. But this is cool because it gave me an opportunity to crack open my CIB copy of Street Fighter 2 that I got a little while back. And it's pretty neat because I've never even played it before until today. You know, I usually use the EverDrive and things, but I was noticing going through all the paperwork from the CIB stuff that, you know, has the registration card. And underneath the registration card, I actually found this note from the original owner. And I noticed he'd done this on RPGs and things, but I guess it kind of bragging about his high score and the fact that he beat the game. There was really no passwords to speak of or, you know, tips and tricks. He's kind of like, hey, I beat the game just so the world can know. I thought that was kind of interesting. And so Blanc and I are here battling it out. And it's kind of turning into a game of footsies, which happens pretty quickly when you only have kicks available too. So you'll see that happen quite a bit on this playthrough, and especially as you watch other people's playthroughs as well. I have seen a tendency of people to kind of lean heavily on the roundhouse and not really use any other kicks. And, you know, I think that's a bit of a mistake because that can be a strategy you can use throughout a lot of the different characters, that if you try to just come in with a roundhouse only, you're going to be beaten. But if you can mix it up with the shorts and the mediums, you got to get a chance at doing something different. So Zangief has had pretty easy win with kick. This is a strategy I've long used on Zangief, and I actually don't employ it well today, which is kind of strange. Shaking some rust off. It's been a while since I've played this version of the game, you know, no speed or anything like that. This is obviously the slower version, the original version. But it's really just jump up, try to find a sweet spot, and then come down and sweep his legs. And usually between the two, if he doesn't successfully block, he's pretty vulnerable to that. But you know, that said, he can sneak through from time to time, and he does a couple times here and makes this a much more close battle than it maybe should have been. Alright, so that one's down. Wasn't terribly difficult, but again, probably should have been a little bit easier than that one, given the nature of the pattern I usually use with him. I've seen some people struggle with Guile on these challenges. There really is a way you can keep him at bay here. You're going to see me utilize this throughout. And I am, again, just using the short kick to nullify his flash kick. So if you can get in before the blade exposes itself, you can kind of stop it before it gets started. And you can see he's really vulnerable to that.
Round 2, fight!
Again, not using a lot of roundhouses here. Just enough to kind of change it up.
Sonic boom. Sonic boom. Sonic boom.
So Guile's down. So what are we, 4 deep now? So we're working our way through the original 8 World Warriors here. Let's bash some bricks and get some points. So fun fact about Kinda Cool is this game Street Fighter 2 hit right around the time I was 16 years old, just getting my first car, my first job. And I actually picked my first job at a Mazio's Pizza because, mainly due to the fact that it had Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. So Mazio's Pizza was like a 80s, 90s joint for, you know, I think it was like a chain, but you could get free refill cup, and that was a big deal when you could get like a suicide drink where you mixed all the different cola flavors together. So kind of shows you how hardcore I was into this game around that time. I wanted to be around it, work around it, spend my money directly on it. So yeah, fun fact. So here we are taking down Dalsum, and he can be a trouble spot if you let him. I think the key is to stay aggressive with him, and it's actually one of the ones where I actually try to employ the one special move that we have available to us with the kicks only, and that's the whirlwind kick. He tends to be a bit susceptible to it, so you can throw it out there, and obviously if you find a pattern is not working with it, pull the plug on it, but every now and then he'll let you pretty much have your way with that whirlwind kick, and if it's there, it seems to be really there. Alright, so another character down. See who's next. Alright, so this is where things get a bit interesting because you've got the Japan leg of the tournament here, and Honda is just a defensive tank when you have kicks only. He's really tough to break into. You really kind of have to play a waiting game and a footsies game with him to find a way through his defense. He's got that overhand chop that in this version is just lethal. It can really take you out of the air really quickly and really easily. So we're going to try to use a cautious strategy on him here, and again, footsie him to back him out to make sure he doesn't put me in the corner. We're obviously going to try to bait him into a flying headbutt here, and that works. Come around the backside of him.
Round 2, fight!
See if we can get him to do that one more time. Alright. That's actually a pretty good Honda round, because he can actually trip you up pretty easily. He's one of the tougher ones in this Kin Kicks challenge I found from the original 8 World Warriors. Alright, so next up is Ryu, and he's a difficult draw as well because remember, he's got fireballs and you don't. So you can really kind of choose to work him on the inside and try to keep him from throwing the fireballs. Or you can push out to the outskirts and see if he'll start throwing them and use that as an opportunity to break his defense. But you could get boxed out that way too, so gotta be careful. I choose to kind of stay close to him in this one and see how it works out for me.
Round 2, fight! Hadouken! Hadouken! Hadouken!
So pretty close and ugly, but a win's a win, right? So Ryu's down. we move on to the boss characters now. So let's see how that goes.
Round
Balrog is interesting because the strategy you use here in the Kin Kicks challenge is basically the same one that I use normally, and that's I'll get the windmill kick going, and usually if you connect on it, it usually puts him in a dizzy state, and that's pretty much it for him. And as soon as he gets up and recovers from the dizzy state, you start the process over again. Now, if he doesn't take the bait for that, it makes for a much more difficult match. But when he does, pretty easy.
Round 2, fight!
I think we're going to see an opportunity of him not taking the bait as easily this time for this one. Here's my first loss of a round too, but hey, you know what? We can lose rounds, right? Nobody said he couldn't lose a round.
3, fight!
That's a lot more how you expect him to go right there, so. Alright, so one boss character is down, and we'll move on from there. And as we move into breaking up the car, I wanted to give a couple shout outs to Retro Projections and Bilbo Baggins. So I know that this is a challenge posted by Raza is Retro, and also I think Mark Goes Blind Gaming, I believe. So I've seen a few of these videos now, but I think that they were the originals, but I first caught wind of this from Retro Projections and Bilbo Baggins, so it's kind of like my VR response to them in a way. So thanks guys for pointing me in the right direction here. Oh my car. Alright, back on the road and headed for Spain. Let's see what Vega's got. Now Vega's a tough draw for Kin Kicks because he's much faster than you, and you're not able to box him out like you normally might. So losing that fireball really hurts you here with this one. It's the kind of character you just love to zone normally, but won't have that opportunity here in this challenge. That's actually a pretty good round for Vega. So again, things can go horribly sideways with this particular character in this challenge.
Round 2, fight!
See if I get another lucky round here. Alright, not bad, not bad. Made it through another character now. So 2 more to go. Is it possible we can do this? Pull this off and win the game on the Kin Kicks challenge? I don't know.
Round 1, fight!
Sagat is going to be a tough draw too if he doesn't take the bait. And this is another one where if you can't bait him, you know, to throw the super uppercut and to leave himself vulnerable, man, he's got tough defense. And you can see right here, he worked me over pretty quick. He got inside and obliterated me. So let's see if we can change our fortunes here on the next round. Not a good start. Well played, well played. Yeah, he saw me coming on that one. We get lucky here and like absolutely steal that one. That was not 9 out of 10 times that uppercut takes you out of that kick. So I must have got it just early enough before it was lethal to me. But see if we got another round in us or not. He's already got me in the corner. Not where I want to be with no fireballs and no dragon punch. And he's proceeding to go to town. Last ditch move, but no. Not meant to be. But you know what? That's a pretty good run. That is a pretty darn good run. I'll take it. Alright, so my Kin Kicks journey comes to an end. And we're going to take a look at the score here and see how we did. We're going to run down the timer right quick and obviously punch in the kind of cool initials. We got to do that, right? Make it official. Big thanks again to Bilbo Baggins and Retro Projections for pointing me in the direction of this challenge. And I know I'm a little late to the party, but I made it. And I got to say, this entire challenge, I think it was, in fact, kind of cool.
Dr. Burger!